stuck here. The cops won't bother me. And I'm going to take the XR out. I put the supermoto wheels back in there. I bolted everything up. Turned the petcock on. I try to put the dirt wheels on there, but unfortunately I don't have the right rear disc, so that's going to have to hold for a little bit. The bike rides extremely well, and it's a fun bike to ride. I just keep getting people like interested in buying it, but nobody knows what it is. Everybody thinks it's just a 650L. I keep telling you, no, it's a completely different bike, man. You don't want to buy this bike. This bike is not for you. If you don't know what a 650R is, then this is not the bike for you to buy it. Let's stop in Burtonsville, see if their little taco place is being built. It really is the bike that you have to give it gas. You know, there's this thing known in the BRP community. The bike will pretty much do everything. You just have to give it gas and hold on to it, because its mass is just insane. It just pushes things out the way. Can you imagine seeing this big pig in the woods? You know, normally you see like little tiny red pigs. The XR50s, the XR100s, the 250s, the 400s. But you never see the 650. Because the 650 type of rider is a little bit on the crazy side. It's a bike that it gives you a workout. It's the type of bike that just is so fun to ride. But it improves you quite a bit. That's the thing. A lot of people, they think that somehow, goddamn, this bike is just pure fun. They think somehow that you're riding like a big pig, that you can't keep up with the 250s. Man, this bike in the right hands does really well. You know, KLR 650, Honda XR 650L are very easy bikes to ride. They don't make a lot of power. The way the power delivery on those is like very sedate. So when you get on this and you would go like, oh man, this bike is just so much different. And it's something to be admired. I think Honda was ahead of its time with this thing. And the amazing thing is the sound that this bike makes. Even at slow speeds it sounds good. I think they should have marketed this a little bit better. Like, the type of people that get this bike are not the type of people that get like the regular bikes. It's definitely a guy that kind of lives out in the west and has access to like deserts and very open trails. This bike is really good for that. But I never thought that this bike would be so good for the supermoto crowd. It really is that type of bike that you could have so much fun under 100 miles an hour. Normally, I think bikes have power a little bit different. And on this one, it makes kind of abrupt power. Abrupt power compared to any other bike that I've had. I don't know, I think pretty much like this is a power band all of its own. I had the KLR 650. Let me see, I've had a bunch of like other single cylinders, but the KLR 650 is just so much different because it's so sedate, you know. And I guess people get it because of the sedateness of it, because mostly people get it for cross-country trips or commuting, and that's a very good bike for that. But it's very antiquated and it's not very fun. It's not a fun bike at all. This is a fun bike. This is the type of bike that if you just are into the sport aspect of riding, then this is the bike that you want to get. The Honda Element is a car that Honda made from 2003 to 2010, I think. And it didn't sell well, but it had this cult of followers that were so gun-ho. And even now, that car fetches for quite a price. and people just love them. But it was a bad seller on paper. The Honda Element did really badly, and that's the way I feel about this bike. You know, it's definitely ahead of its time. When this was out in 2000, you know, I think all the other bikes were kind of garbage. You know, they had the WR400, I believe. He had the 250s, but I mean, this thing was superior when it came to power. Definitely ahead of its time, and I think this bike, I can appreciate why people are loving this thing again, especially the supermoto crowd. There's this guy called Jake the Snake Garden or something, the Garden Snake, and he's got a lot of money, so it's kind of funny when he got the XR650. It's more like a little project bike, but to me, I don't have a lot of money, so for me, I really need to figure out if this bike will hold its value, and I need to figure out if it's going to break down. For a guy like Jake, you know, he makes a lot of money, so if something breaks down, okay, you just fix it. Motor, yeah, no problem, just fix it. And actually, it'll probably be a good thing for his channel. And that's the way I feel about the BMW crowd too. It's they spend a lot of money, but even if something breaks, they can fix it. They have the money to fix it. Now, the reason I buy a lot of bikes, and the bikes that I like, are the ones that don't break. You know, I like bikes that have such a following and a tradition of not breaking and having it to be durable and kind of legendary. And I think that's what I feel about this bike and all the bikes that I usually buy. Image. Oh, don't get in front of me, you fucking goddamn douchebag. Jesus Christ. God damn it. Always these guys. Ugh. Ugh. Uh-oh, here's the popo. Oh, I'm actually kind of glad that this guy was in front then. Uh-oh. Downtown like this, you know, you gotta pick the right, look at that, man. You gotta pick the right time to ride, because it's unbearable riding with traffic. Alright, squids, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!